The markets are having a strong day as we head into the end of the month, end of the quarter, a potential government shutdown, fresh inflation data tomorrow. We're going to be discussing and preparing for all of that and more today on Money Never Sleeps. Welcome back, everybody. As we get started, do us a favor, hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Nothing Kevin or I say is financial advice. We're not financial advisors, so please do all of your own research before making any buys or sells. Kev, we're seeing some green in the markets today across crypto, across equities. The dollar is pulling back a bit. The VIX is down a little bit. There's some renewed optimism right now. I'm not entirely sure what is driving that optimism. But, if you're bullish right now, this could be maybe you've used at the start of a little bit of a rally. If you're bearish, this could be hey, we can sell from higher. You kind of have to place your bets here. But what are you focusing on today in the markets as we head into, we're a couple days away from a potential government shutdown or a very short-term resolution. It doesn't sound like there's any long-term plan that's going to be agreed upon. We have inflation data tomorrow. We had GDP come in today saying that it was the same as previously thought. So Q2 GDP officially coming in at 2.1%. I saw some interesting stuff around some revised numbers as far as how much people actually saved during the pandemic or over the last 5 years, like leading up to the pandemic. That's not great. I'll touch on that in a second, but let me give you kind of the floor to take, the direction of where you want to go with this right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So yesterday after the show, I just wanted to bring this up. We tweeted out slight buy on the Friday. We're seeing that today. Obviously, there's so much information that's coming out Friday. I think today was kind of given that there would be a bit of a buy in the market. We're seeing that clearly, especially in crypto. So I just wanted to bring that up because, some of these market moves are kind of predictable, especially when you know that there's a lot of data coming out on a certain day and the market's going to be extremely volatile. If we had seen a red day, I'd probably anticipate, a green day tomorrow, even if we did get some bad news. But we are seeing a bit red, big green today, so that tells me that okay, maybe they're trying to sell from higher. It's also gonna, stop some people out who might have been over leveraged. So seeing the green today, not a surprise. What I've been keeping an eye on mainly, since yesterday's show, has been oil. I've been keeping an eye on, the U.S. dollar. Some concerning things about the dollar that I have to still take into account, even though I am bullish on the dollar. Obviously, that a lot of that comes into play with Japan and the yen, as they seem to be finally taking a stance against the inflation in their country. So we'll have to keep our eye on that, and then just checking out some of the levels. I think that we're seeing a bit of a liquidation in crypto. That's going to be important going into tomorrow, because while tomorrow is the TradFi, monthly close, quarterly close, weekly close, daily close, everything's for TradFi's tomorrow. Cryptos is Sunday, so depending on how TradFi reacts tomorrow, Saturday, my bad. Sunday's Q4. But yeah, so however that plays out for TradFi tomorrow, I think it's going to roll over into Saturday for crypto. So that's what I've just been keeping an eye on here.
Yeah, one headline that caught my eye this morning that is getting kind of glossed over is from the Bureau of Economic Analysis. They're estimating that they were wrong by the tune of $1.1 trillion when it comes to how much money Americans saved from 2017 to 2022. And not wrong in a way that it's 1.1 trillion more, but 1.1 trillion less. So however much money you thought people had saved and stocked away to get through this bear market and to get through these higher inflationary periods, it is wrong by a sizable amount. So that is another concerning piece for me when it comes to how much money people have. We're going to see Nike is actually releasing earnings at the end of close today. They are like one of the last companies to release earnings. Expectations are not good. And this is going to give people something to look at when it comes to how are people spending their money? Where is disposable income going? Are sneakers still getting bought? Are people still buying like new clothes and new shoes for back to school? It's not looking great. So nothing has changed my stance in the last 24 hours, obviously. Like this, we're going to have green days intermixed here. Once again, that is if you're playing some trades, you do your thing. I would be looking to exit here, but I'm not. That's not for everybody. But yeah, man, I think we everyone wants to think that all this stuff is priced in, but we can look at different data points to show that it just isn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty blatant that it isn't priced in. And I think that once we get some of this news, tomorrow and honestly, even Monday when the market's open, I think you'll see how priced in everything is, which it isn't. So that's all I got to say on that front for that. But yeah, I think the markets are in over their heads here, and one green day does not make a market, right? One green day here. I mean, let's look at how many days it's been down in the past week or so. It's down over a
Wake
thousand.
me up when September ends. Speaking of Green Day.
Yeah, speaking of Green Day, it's not going to be a green month for September unless tomorrow is an absolute infinity candle to the upside. But yeah, September was a bad month. I know I'm going to try and be on the show tomorrow, but yeah, it's shaped up to be a pretty shitty month for TradFi once again. For crypto, it's been still pretty crappy a lot for some altcoins, but as we're seeing this take up here, I think that we're going to see some of these gains reverse for sure as the volatility kicks in with some of the news that's happening over the weekend.
Yeah, we're still, if we want to look at the monthly, we're still forming the same pattern that we saw back in 2019. Like it's still, we're seeing, this chop here, and we're going to get a catalyst at some point. We're going to get a catalyst to the upside at some point, but I think it's going to be more chop and more slow bleed. You're going to have, small green months intermixed here and there, but I'm not willing to say that it's Uptober the way that other people are very happy to proclaim it is. Like, and once again, I would just love one of these people to give me any viable reason why that is the case, where these buyers are going to be coming from, who is going to be putting the money into the market that's going to drive the price up and send the vibes higher in October. I just don't see it.
Yeah, some people are still betting on this vibe session. It's some people are going on the vibe session route. Other people are seeing that Ray Dalio is saying that we're going to have a credit crisis. Place your bets where you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but one of those.
I'm still thinking we're going to get stagflation.
Yeah, that's possible. I agree too.
Look at demand. We're going to see another piece is going to be with these Nike earnings. We're going to see what demand is looking like, and it's going to be down. We're going to see. I mean, we're not going to. If there's a shutdown, we won't know next week what the job market looks like because we won't get those reports. But let's see what inflation looks like tomorrow. If it comes in over expectation, if we start trending back up with these higher oil prices, we're going to have two pieces of the puzzle with inflation and demand. And that third piece is going to be employment. And we'll find out eventually what that looks like. Because if it's trending higher, inflation's on its way back up. And if demand is going back down, that's stagflation. That's bad for everybody. And I wouldn't be getting ahead of yourselves here thinking that crypto or anything else is going to be immune from what comes of that. It just isn't. Like, you can wish in one hand and shit in the other. Once again, you're going to end up with a real stinky hand there.
Absolutely stinky hand. And even with stagflation, like that doesn't mean they were immune to like a sharp drop in the markets, right? That could still absolutely happen if something horrible happens. And again, with stagflation, that just makes it even harder for a lot of these sectors that are extremely leveraged, those that are, pretty much held at gunpoint by the current rates and, the federal funds rate. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do go into the stagflation period where it's affecting consumers. But for the most part, it's a lot of these major businesses, a lot of these other companies, we start seeing a lot of defaults, similar to how we're seeing, Evergrande default, and a lot more bankruptcies, how we're seeing other companies just file for bankruptcy here. So we're at a very critical point, and I think it's going to be twofold, just absolutely terrible for consumers, but also terrible for the industry, for those that are at least not able to survive under these current rates.
This month is more so than August, in my opinion. September has really tested your resolve as to how you're playing this market, your belief in, your thesis behind it all, because it took everything in this, like Bitcoin is green on the month by a very small amount, and it took everything in its power to do so. It is still very much overbought. Same goes for every crypto asset. And most, I want to look here. See, where's the NASDAQ? NASDAQ, incredibly overbought still on the monthly, and it's had a big red candle this month. Like, everything is overbought, and fighting for its life. And and that's before we get even more data. That's before resumption of student loans, which 90% of people, like we mentioned, are, believe that they're going to be in somewhat of a trouble, like paying those off and keeping up with other expenses. Like, it sucks, but it's just not good right now. So you can continue to believe that, we have some more pain ahead and it's an opportunity to just accumulate, or you can just hope that it's October. So I know which direction I'm playing this market. I feel strong in that belief. Kev, we're going to keep it short today. Any charts that you want to look at as we wrap up this show?
Yeah. So again, I don't know if I'll be here for the monthly close show tomorrow, but I will show you a few levels that we just need to keep an eye on in some of these major indices. Again, tomorrow is going to be a very fun day. Definitely keep an eye on some of these major levels as we get the monthly close. These are the ones I want to see. Obviously 14416 in the NASDAQ is one that we really wanted to see. It's pretty impressive that it actually wicked all the way down there. And then, in the past 2 days, we've kind of rallied ourselves up above it. But I mean, from where we currently are to down to that level, that's about 200 points. I don't think that if we don't get a resolution by tomorrow, we get some bad PCE data. Q3, a lot of people are closing some positions waiting for Q4. I don't think it's out of the question that we could see a down 200-point day for the NASDAQ. So we'll just keep an eye on that level. It's an important one that we have to keep in mind. And, S&P, this was another level that we're talking about, right? 4250. Currently above it by about 40 points. We were down 70 points at one point yesterday and rally up. So it's very possible that we absolutely go down to that level too. It's, like I said, it's 40 points. That's less than what we were down yesterday. And if it closes below that, that's not a good sign for a lot of institutional traders. And I think that this is absolutely going to help the VIX push up. But there's also one thing I will say, that if we do get a government shutdown and, they resolve it within a week or so or something like that, there's a good chance that the markets do rally for a few days. And then next thing you know, it continues down. I think the market's really going to try and get people out of their positions more than anything, and try and sell from higher if we realize that, okay, we close under some of these key levels. So tomorrow, see how this plays out. And then obviously we have to monitor how everything plays out with the shutdown. If it happens, if it doesn't happen, how long does it last for? That's going to be really important going into October, or October, as I should say. Fucking Bloodtober. Anyways, let's look at the Dow. Let's see, pull up the Dow. Come on. There we go. The Dow's already under a critical point, in my opinion. I think as long as we close below 34,347, we would have to shoot up about 900 points here. Obviously, this is a really good start for a monthly break. We're breaking out of this parallel channel, this bear flag, and we're also below this level. So that's a good thing to see. It's, honestly, I think this one is, I'm not saying it's set in stone that it's going to close below it. Anything can happen, but I definitely think that it's in a good position. It's under the level that we currently want to see by a significant amount. Let's just see how tomorrow closes out. It's going to be very important for the Dow. Now, let's go into crypto real quick, just because there's not too much to go over. So you can see that Bitcoin dominance is back above 50%. True Bitcoin dominance is much higher. We can see that Bitcoin right now is currently trading at about 29 or 26.9. My bad, 29. Fuck. 26.9 right here. It's getting some rejection around that level. This is the monthly close for Bitcoin. I'm not too concerned right here. Obviously, this could dump significantly by Saturday's close, but I more just want to get into what we're seeing here on the daily and maybe in the shorter time frame. So obviously we got a pretty good rally here today. We're up about 2%, $520 or so. Shot up to the 50 moving average on the daily. Looks like it got rejected a bit when it touched the 200 EMA. I think that this thing is probably going to close somewhere around here, maybe below the 50 moving average, maybe even below this 26,813 level, this yellow line that's right here. I'll make it bigger for us, that big yellow line there. But what I'm seeing is I'm seeing another parallel channel here, not just on the daily, but on the shorter time frames. You can see it. Like, I pull up the 4-hour. There you go. You got the pole kind of coming down here, some corrective move to the downside. Now we're putting in this kind of parallel channel, this corrective move. If we go on to the 1 hour, they can probably even see it better, how it's been just trading in this channel for a period of time. And, it's bounced off this bottom trend line. We're completely overbought on the 1 hourly, and we are completely overbought, or we will be overbought completely in the 4 hourly in about 45 minutes, as long as this price stays in this range. So I think that we're just trading within here. This is not necessarily a good thing to see as we go into what could be the monthly close. A lot of volatility coming into the markets tomorrow. I'm not necessarily extremely bullish. It's possible that we do go to like 27K, or, we do want to test maybe a double top right around here, around 27.5. I wouldn't be surprised because there is a lot of liquidity up here because tons of people were shorting the market in Bitcoin and a lot of leverage. So if the market doesn't have enough money to push up closer to 30,000, I do think that it might try for a run to liquidate some of those positions up just a little bit north of here currently. So that's what I'm seeing with crypto. I do want to pull up BNB one last time because we got to do it for good old CZ. I tweeted about this last night. There's a huge blue trend line right here that I've been, charting, and it's pretty much marked everything for Binance. The only time we kind of broke above this blue trend line was back in August, but you can see that it starts here. We found rejection there. We found rejection there. You didn't even test it there, but you found, again, rejection here back in the 29th of August, right before it absolutely dropped. And then we got rejected a few days back on the 18th, right up here on this blue line. And then we got rejected here on Wednesday, and we're getting rejected here on Thursday today. So there is definitely a line that is finding some resistance for BNB. I don't know if that means it's going to coil up and break out, or if it's going to just find like, hey, this is rejection. We can't break above it, so we're going to have to continue down lower, maybe retest it again at some later date. Maybe it tests at 0. I have no idea. Eventually, we'll probably, you could draw this trend line down to 0, but in all honesty, we can see that on the daily, or this is the 4 hourly. If we look on the daily, we're getting close to being overbought and we're at resistance here. So I think that we are going to get into the overbought territory today. And then tomorrow, maybe we're above this, but it depends on where we close tomorrow with the daily. I think that there's a good chance that the market does drop. We'll be right back into this channel. And then obviously, if Bitcoin decides to dump or do whatever it wants to, then guess what? Most things should follow. But I think that BNB is at a critical level. And I think a lot of other alts are in the same situation. Let me just pull up Solana too real quick. Yeah, Solana is still following this pattern to a T pretty much. We're just getting a little bounce here. I honestly believe that it probably is going to continue down before we get another rally up. Or even, I could be wrong, and this could be the rally up, right? We're just waiting for another wave down. But a lot of alts are kind of just putting in these patterns to get their structures. Nothing crazy, nothing impulsive. The only altcoin that's being really impulsive, in my opinion, is this BNB or this Binance coin. It's Turbo or whatever it's called, Turb. It shot up yesterday to $66. Right now it's at $50. So you can definitely see that, these are liquid $100 million market cap coins. It's a casino. They're easy to pump the money in and out of. So altcoins are, fairly fine. Shit coins are definitely being a little bit more volatile. But that's all I'm seeing for the market right now. Nothing too crazy. Don't get ahead of yourself thinking that, okay, it's October now just yet. Wait for confirmation. But going into tomorrow, I think that we shouldn't be surprised if the market is irrational. The most important thing is today's close and then tomorrow's close, because that really is all that matters leaving Q3.
All right. That is going to wrap it up for today. Wanted to keep this one short and sweet. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see who's with me. If it's Kev, if it's Mr. House, if it's both, we'll figure it out. But appreciate you all for watching. Do me a favor, hit the buttons down below, a like, subscribe, drop a comment, share us out on social media. All of that stuff is greatly appreciated. Have an awesome day. Stay safe out there in the markets. Good luck, and we'll see you tomorrow.